Greetings, beloved brothers and sisters. A wise man was once observing the difference between humans and animals. And he was referring to a particular maze in which rats were being trained. He said, if you put cheese at the end of this tunnel, after a while, as soon as you put the rat in the maze, he will only go to that chute and he will go to the end and get the cheese. If you then remove the cheese, he will still go down that chute a few times. But once he realizes there's no cheese at the end of that little chute, that little tunnel, he'll never go down there again. And what he was saying was the difference between rats and human beings is human beings will keep going down that tunnel forever, even if there's no cheese down there. And the reason for that is belief. They believe that it will come. So they aren't able to learn from their experience as long as they hold that belief. This one, when watching TV, sometimes likes to watch action thrillers. And what he realized recently was that almost all of the action thrillers are about the belief in vengeance. Even though it, in your experience, it doesn't really work to use force to try to vanquish your enemy. In these thrillers, there's usually a setup where something often happens to someone who's innocent. A child is abducted. Once that happens, the hero is totally justified in killing as many people as need be to rescue that child. The theme is always vengeance. I have been wronged. I have been treated unjustly. The people who did this are evil and bad, and therefore deserve my punishment. Watching this, there's this belief that there will be this great satisfaction if you can vanquish your enemies. But just like the rat who goes down the chute, there's no recognition on the part of human beings that this doesn't work. You can't do unto others and then cut out. There are no others. Your violence is against yourself. Vengeance doesn't satisfy for long, and it doesn't end there. When you declare mission accomplished, look again, see what the consequences are of continuing to use force and attack and anger and resentment justified by your innocence and someone else's guilt. You may believe that it works, but in your experience, you'll see that it doesn't. When you attack someone, you feel more distant from them. Separation that you feel leads to guilt. And the guilt is awful. And it has to be gotten rid of. And how do you do that? By attacking someone else. And it seems like that would work, except it just creates more separation. After you attack someone, you never want to hug them. you're farther apart from them. And it starts this vicious cycle. Well, the good news is many, many souls have had enough, have declared so. I'm sick and tired of this same belief that I could somehow win if somebody else loses. That if we could just get rid of and just fill in the blank, we'd all have peace. People are becoming fed up and are starting to open to the possibility that these beliefs don't really work. And they don't lead to satisfaction. They don't lead to peace. They don't lead to healing. And now, more than ever, people are clamoring for peace, for love, for forgiveness. And in response to that request, more love is pouring down on this planet than has ever happened before. Not because it's being imposed on people, but because it was requested. The request for love, the request for healing is now inviting, at long last, an influx of the strongest levels of love ever received. And I realize that it looks like the world is in turmoil, but think of it more like a beautiful chalice that had something in it that was valuable when it was liquid, but it's been ignored, and what was ever in there is now all dried up and caked on and blocking the light of the chalice. And the only way to clean that out is to start pouring in fresh water. When the water first hits the chalice, it will start to stir up and bring up all of the crud at the bottom, all of the fragments. And in the beginning, the chalice will look worse off than if the water never hit it. But over time, this pure water starts to wash away all of the impurities, and the chalice becomes clear again. And it's just full of love. That's what's happening now. It's happening in your body. It's happening on the planet. It's happening in your politics. It's happening everywhere. All of the things that were never challenged are now being challenged. All of the hurts that were ignored are coming back to be experienced and released. And even some of the deepest unhelpful beliefs are being challenged now. Appearances are deceiving. The truth of love is not. Your job right now is to increase your allowance of all things, because that's what love does. It allows all things. Let what is happening happen. Experience it as best you can. And know that this is what you've asked for, so that you can heal and everyone can heal. And peace can reign on this divine kingdom. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.